Hello, everyone. My name's Sarah. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the head of programs here at Stonewall. Simon and I are here today to talk you through the brand new Rainbow Laces campaign for 2026, some of the changes that we've made, and crucially, how you and your workplace can get involved and make the most out of the campaign. Simon, do you want to start us off by sharing some of the thinking behind the reboot and what's been going on behind the scenes in the last few months?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Rainbow Laces campaign was an iconic campaign. It's been around since 2013 and has had a really strong history of being about football and about elite sport and has moved into some of the other sports. But over the last year, since we have been looking at all the different aspects of Stonewall's work, one of the things we wanted to do was think about how can we use this campaign to make it really relevant to everybody who's LGBTQ+, and also to think about how we can support our proud employers to be able to use the campaign in the workplaces. So Rainbow Laces is now about movement, about moving with pride, about belonging, about connection, and really about trying to build people's confidence and remove barriers. So it's for some people, movement will be simply going for a walk. For others, it might be about doing some form of exercise on their own or with others. And for others, it might be about sport, but really encouraging people to recognize the benefits from a mental health perspective, think about the benefits from a productivity perspective in the context of work, but also just that sense of community and sense of belonging. Encouraging people to try new things, really thinking about how do we just try to encourage people to get the joy and the benefit from movement, from exercise, from sport, which we know everybody deserves to feel like they belong and to feel good physically and mentally. So I think hopefully that gives a sort of high level overview. We've got also some statistics which show where people might have experienced prejudice, discrimination, or reasons why they may not feel able to participate. And all of that will be available when the campaign is launched. And we're really using the Rainbow Laces to create that visibility, both the laces, so we're keeping the physical laces, but also through some of the t-shirt, water bottle, hat, trying to make that sense of moving with pride very visible, and whether that's in community, in workplaces. But I guess over to you to say a little bit more about workplaces, specifically how proud employers can think about using the Rainbow Laces campaign to why and how.
Yeah, so I suppose when we're reflecting on building this campaign, it really strikes us that the world of work has changed pretty dramatically in the last sort of 5 years, and that often the incidental movement that we used to get, the kind of movement we used to get through our day-to-day lives, for many of us is no longer a part of our working lives. But also that increasingly we see workplaces really recognizing and understanding the huge benefits of movement, of exercise, of sport for their teams, whether that's having sports teams within your organization where people can come together and play together, whether that's having access to exercise facilities, be that on site or supported membership of gyms and swimming pools and wellbeing spaces, or whether that's through our wellbeing ERGs or our LGBTQ plus ERGs, making walking part of the day again, encouraging us to take walking meetings or encourage us to move in different ways throughout our day. And we see absolutely huge benefits for our mental well-being, of being connected to people, of the joy of movement, of finding ways of moving that really work for us and bring us joy, social well-being, feeling much more connected to the other people in our workplaces, meeting new people. Many of us are online now, and it's much harder to find those one-to-one connections, and movement can be a brilliant way to do that as well as the many physical benefits that we understand come with exercise and movement and sport and play. So we're hoping that this this reboot will really help Rainbow Laces be an incredibly practical thing that you are able to leverage and use in your workplace in a way that really supports your work and as a tool for you year round. The campaign will now run year round, so you can leverage this at any point in the year that feels like it's relevant, feels like it works, feels like it fits with your calendar. We've got a bunch of ideas and we'll be sharing loads of resources about how to enact those at the launch, but a quick run through of things you might want to consider and you're thinking about how Rainbow Laces can fit in and support your work. As Simon said, we're keeping the iconic laces. They've had a little bit of an update, a little bit of a redesign. They come along with a wider set of merchandise, and that can be a really great thing to provide to your staff, to your ERG members, to your on-site sports facilities, to help people show their support for the campaign and get people talking about inclusion. We also have a brand new pledge, which allows you to commit to 3 really simple things that the spaces for movement within your organization are inclusive spaces, that they are spaces where LGBTQ plus people can feel welcome, can feel they are part of a community, can feel that they are welcomed into those spaces. And the statistics that Simon mentioned show us that 37% of LGBTQ plus people have experienced some form of discrimination while trying to move and trying to exercise. So that pledge, displayed proudly and signed up to by your organization, can have a really profound effect on how included people feel in a space. We've also got some other Rainbow Laces assets that you might want to think about using, whether that's digitally on intranet pages, whether that's physically in the physical spaces, whether that's popping one on your laptop or your water bottle, and we'll send out a link to you all for how to access those. We also have a workshop, so you can leverage that. It's called Move with Pride. It's a simple workshop that explains LGBTQ plus access to sport and movement, what some of the barriers might be, what some of the opportunities might be, and helps you think, whatever your context, on a really practical level about how you can create more inclusive spaces for movement within any organisation. That can also be a great one to leverage through an ERG at some point in the year, help people learn a little bit more as you launch the campaign within your organisation if you choose to do so. And then finally, to fundraise for us. Stonewall are a charity, and we are grateful for the fundraising and the donations that we receive. They help us do all of our work. But also, sports, exercise, movement fundraising challenges can be a really fun way to bring your organisation together, to make use of people's volunteering time, to help make new connections, learn new skills. And there are a whole range of ideas that we'll share with you of like fun, easy, movement-related fundraising activities that you might like to do. So to round us off, Simon, I'd love you to share a little bit more about how people can find out more about the campaign, how people can get involved, and how people can learn a bit more about the reboot.
Sure. So the campaign relaunches tomorrow, Tuesday, the 20th. Is that right?
Yes.
Can we do a pause and a stitch up of the video?
We can. Well, I'm sure Charlotte can, because I've also forgotten to say something that I should have said before I handed it back to you.
Okay.
So shall I try and do that? Yeah. Okay. And always
just have a pause a minute to make it easier for Charlotte.
Yeah. And also remember that the Proud Employers team are always here to help you understand how to use the campaign, to make a plan, to offer you other ideas. And also, if you're listening to this and thinking that this could have reach beyond your staff, beyond your organisation, maybe you are an organisation that specialises in health, maybe you're an organisation with an outward focus that would really benefit from the Rainbow Laces campaign, please do drop us an email on proud.employers@stonewall.org.uk and our team will be more than happy to help you make a plan. So, Simon, let me hand back to you to tell us a little bit more about the launch and what people can expect.
So campaign launches on Tuesday, the 20th of January. And by the time you're watching this, it may well have already launched. So we will be putting some press and media and blogs and videos together, which will all be available to you, as Sarah said earlier. From here on in, it's really about trying to use the campaign in the way that you see fit. And you will all have different circumstances, different environments, different things that appeal. But we've really tried to make this something which can be adapted and can be usable, whether you've got a small workforce or a large workforce or a particular demographic, that really, this is also, of course, about getting everybody involved. One of the things which I've been so excited about with the Proud Employers work over the last years is recognizing how important allies are in the moves towards equality within the workplace. So this is really about thinking, how can you use the assets, the principle? For me, just one last thing, I think, is that movement for me is about joining the dots. If I've got a speed, some time walking or moving before or after a meeting or at the end of the day, it has that sort of benefit. But also we know that sometimes people don't switch off digitally. So this is also part of that ability, thinking about how do you encourage to develop those good habits, which we know help create a happy workforce. So it really is about joining the dots, finding ways for proud employers to use it creatively. So I really hope that you, some of the proud employers, the team will have exciting conversations and learn new ways of doing this rather than it being a prescriptive way of doing things. Use the assets, use the merch that's available to really get us thinking about how do we move with pride? How do we encourage cultures of belonging, feelings of connection with each other, connection with our body and mind, and what exercise can do for that. So yeah, lots of things really to just encourage proud employers, all of you, to think about how you can use this to help further your specific goals. And we really look forward to working with you. The website on the website pages, you go to the Stonewall website and Rainbow Laces will be on the front page in the immediate days, and then there is a Rainbow Lace section specifically, and then on the hub there is also all of the information. There will be a specialist page on the Proud Employers hub, and if you can't find anything, of course, please do email the hot desk, and they'll be very, very happy to to send you links so you got it directly.
Brilliant. And we're really excited to hear more about how you use the campaign, the creative ideas you come up with. So please do tell us what you're doing, share photos, share stories, and we're here to support you along the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.